Thank you, Presiding Officer. Firstly, I'd like to offer a warm welcome to the visitors in the gallery, to so many individuals and organisations, including colleagues from Running Out Racism, Showing Racism the Red Card, Active Life Club, the STUC, amongst others, that work tirelessly to eradicate racism in all its forms, including sport. I acknowledge the overwhelming cross-party support for this motion also, and we are all grateful for that. This is indeed an uncomfortable topic. Recognising the existence of institutional racism is to admit to years of apathy as people suffered around us, and to accept that processes and structures designed without all voices present have caused harm and affected the achievements of so many. If there is one clear message we should take away from the debate today, it is that we need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, for it is in that discomfort that true change can take place. Today, we reflect on the findings of the Plan for Sport independent review into racism in Scottish cricket, and I commend Sports Scotland for commissioning this review. It's never easy for anyone to come forward, often suffering negative impacts on career, family, mental health. But it's because of their bravery that we now have a chance to reflect and move forward in the true spirit of sporting endeavour. Maya Angelou said, "When you know better, do better." And this is our chance to do better. Woven throughout this damning report are themes of an absence of leadership, lack of accountability, transparency, and overall loss of confidence in the incident report handling processes. 448 examples of institution racism were identified against the national governing body, Cricket Scotland. Sir William Macpherson, in his 1999 report of the public inquiry into the death of Stephen Lawrence, defined this as the collective failure of an organisation to provide an appropriate and professional service to people because of their colour, culture, ethnic origin. And this is the definition that is referred to by the authors of the review. From participants, we heard that there were too many close friendships in Cricket Scotland for confidentiality requirements to be upheld. That people who had previously raised concerns were victimised as a result, and the familiar old adage of "it's just banter" invoked as a means of silencing those who spoke out. At board level, there was no overall vision or strategy for tackling racism, and a total lack of diversity in workforce and governance procedures. But while the findings of the report are certainly alarming, it is vital that we not only consider the consequences of our inertia, but we seize this opportunity to learn. And I am grateful for Anila McKenna, an experienced diversity officer, for informing my thoughts on this subject. I'd like to acknowledge the examples of excellent practice that are clearly evident, especially at grassroots, club and association level. We can learn from the good, and with a collective will and responsibility, we can improve across all sporting disciplines, not just in cricket. As a starting point, the review includes many practical and deliverable recommendations, and I acknowledge the work that is already underway by Sports Scotland and urge them to proceed in partnership with organisations that have expertise and experience to offer, and this may well help to rebuild trust and confidence. I welcome Cricket Scotland's commitment to have a new board to be in place by the end of this month. Now, let's be clear, racism exists everywhere in society. But what makes an organisation institutionally racist is not that it has racism. It's whether its priorities tackling it and being actively anti-racist in its policies, procedures and cultures, or remains passive, content with a never-ending cycle of deny, defend, deflect on repeat. Even if we never truly understand the experiences of others, it is important to strive to be an ally. Paul Reddish, who is here today, OBE, talks of allyship as standing up for those when they are not in the room and handing the microphone back when they are present. And I am minded, Presiding Officer, of the words of Nelson Mandela. Sport has the power to change the world. It has the power to inspire. It has the power to unite people in a way that little else does. And in allyship, we must strive to share the pitches, the tracks, the boardrooms as equals. Looking forward, there is a need for ongoing proactive oversight and scrutiny of sporting bodies and organisations, and to include critical expert voices in that process. One option may be to link into the government's ongoing work on a national anti-racist infrastructure led by Dr. Emma Jackson. A key recommendation of this work is to establish more effective accountability and governance infrastructure in Scotland as the terms of reference state. Too often, recommendations have been made on racism and minority ethnic issues that have subsequently been forgotten and not implemented. They may then be raised again by other groups without reference to what has been asked for before. And this absence of institutional memory within the current system and structures is frustrating, it's disempowering, and can be understood as a mechanism by which systemic discrimination occurs. I believe that governance structures and policies that adhere to and deliver on the Macpherson definition of institutional racism should become a statutory obligation for bodies in receipt of government funding. This should be able to be applied robustly across different groups with support from the national agency, whilst recognising the varying size and demographics of sporting bodies. Let's ensure another generation do not suffer from racism with nowhere to go and no hope of redress or apology, but are instead embraced by the sport that they love. We must rebuild trust amongst our sportsmen and women of colour and ensure that we are not discussing the same issues yet again in the next Parliament session. I'd like to thank Qasim Sheikh and Majid Haq for their enormous bravery, and I note that Majid is in the gallery today. But we cannot continue to rely on the bravery of individuals to raise these issues. In closing, Presiding Officer, there is momentum here for positive change. Scotland has given us great sporting successes. Imagine the increased scope of that success if all the potential of all of Scotland's sportspeople was set free from the shackles of discrimination. This is truly a leadership moment. I urge everyone, those in authority, from government to Sport Scotland to clubs and association, to embrace the facts, uncomfortable though they may be and they may make us, and deliver the necessary policies to change them. And I will finish, Presiding Officer, with the words of James Baldwin. Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. Thank you.